right, guys, so today what we're going to do is we're going to continue talking about exponent rules. We spent last class talking about adding, subtracting, multiplying, and power to a power. So today we have two more rules that we're going to learn. We're going to learn dividing monomials in this video, and then we are going to learn negative exponents in the next video. Okay, so when we talk about dividing monomials, what you're going to do is you're going to divide the coefficients. So that's the number in front of a variable. And then you're going to use the quotient rule to simplify any actual variables. Okay. So the quotient rule is x to the a power over x to the b power. So same base, different exponents. What you'll do with those exponents is you will subtract them. So, for example, in number one, if I have x to the fifth power over x to the third power, I would subtract those x to the 5 minus 3, which is really just x to the second power. Okay, you try 2 and 3. Pause the video. Okay, now that you've tried 2 and 3, let's look at number 4. It says a to the sixth, b to the fourth over a squared, b to the third. So I'm going to take, again, my same bases and subtract them. So that would become a to the fourth, b to the first power, or the exponent of 1 is implied. Okay, so try number 5. If you did 5 correctly, it's actually going to be 3x. Again, because what we did is we divided our coefficients. 6 divided by 2 is 3. X to the fourth minus x to the third is x to the first. Okay, so then number 6, let's try that one together. I'm going to do 14 divided by 7 is 2. X squared over x to the first becomes just x, 2 minus 1. And then y squared over y would just become y, 2 minus 1 again. Okay, let's look at number 7. I have negative 36 a squared b to the fifth over 4 a squared b to the third. I'm going to divide my coefficients. So negative 36 divided by 4 is negative 9. A squared over a squared would become a to the 0. And we know that anything to the 0 power is just 1, so we don't need to write a anymore. And then b to the fifth over b to the third becomes b to the second. Okay, pause the video and try number 8. If you did it correctly, you should get 5x y squared z. Okay, so for number 9, this one's a little bit different because I can't do 4 divided by 8, but each of these numbers do have a common factor. They have a common factor of 4, so I can divide each of these numbers by 4, which would give me 1 over 2, and then I subtract my n's. N to the fifth over n would just be n to the fourth. Or you can write it as n to the fourth over 2. Okay, pause the video and try number 10. So now that you've done number 10, you should have gotten 2x to the sixth, y to the third over 3. Okay, now we can't just know our rules in isolation. We have to be able to put all of them together. So we're going to try a couple of these ones where we have more than one rule being applied here. Let's see if I can get you a little bit closer here so you can see a little better. Okay, so if I'm going to do number 11, and then you'll try 12. For number 11, we have to make sure we're only doing one step at a time. So first thing I notice, I want to do the whole top, then the whole bottom, and then move them up, divide them. So I'm going to distribute this 2 here. I've got the product rule, or excuse me, the power to a power rule. So I'm going to rewrite this as 3 squared x to the 10th, because remember, power to a power means I multiply my exponents, over 27 x to the third. Well, 3 squared is 9, so I'd have 9x to the 10th over 27x to the 3rd. And now I've got my division rule, so I'll simplify. I know 9 can go into 9 and 27, and x to the 10th over x to the 3rd would become x to the 7th. So this is just x to the 7th over 3, because 27 divided by 9 is 3. Okay, pause the video and try number 12. Okay, now that you've tried number 12, let's take a look at some more of these. I want you to go ahead and do 13 and 14 for me. If you did those correctly, you should get 3x to the 7th y squared over 4 and 4y to the 10th. Okay, make sure you show your work on those. So for number 15, okay, this one I have the power rule that applies to the whole fraction. So I'm going to distribute this 2 to not just the top of the fraction, but also to the bottom of the fraction. So I'll rewrite this as 12 squared x to the 10th over 15 squared x squared. And again, I got this 10th from doing 5 times 2. Okay, well, now I'll actually square my numbers. 12 squared is, hopefully you know that's 144, x to the 10th, over 15 squared, hopefully you know that's 225, x squared. And then I need to see if I can simplify at all. Is there anything that can go into 144 and 225? Well, yeah, 9 can actually go into both of those. So this is going to simplify. 144 divided by 9 is 16. 225 divided by 9 is 25. And x to the 10th over x squared becomes x to the 8th. Okay, go ahead and try number 16. Give it a shot. If you did it correctly, you should get 16b squared over 25. Okay, 2 more together here. Let's look at number 17. Okay, got a couple of things different going on here. First, we've got multiplication. So I'm going to multiply my 2 coefficients. 9 times 4 is 36. And when I multiply, I add exponents. So this becomes x to the 6th, y to the 7th, over 6x squared y to the 4th. And then I simplify as much as possible. So 36 divided by 6 is 6. X to the 6th over x to the 2nd. I subtract those exponents, so it becomes x to the 4th. And y to the 7th over y to the 4th. Again, I'm subtracting, becomes y to the 3rd. Okay, try number 18, give it a shot. If you did this one correctly, you should get 50 ab to the 4th. Okay, so then for number 19, we got a lot of stuff going on here. So I'm going to try to simplify this fraction as much as possible before I subtract, because I've got to do my order of operations. So I'm going to do 8 times negative 3, which is negative 24. C times c to the 4th would be c to the 5th, d to the 3rd, over 6d c squared d. And then I'll bring the rest of my problem down. Okay, and then I'll simplify my fraction as much as possible. So negative 24 over 6 would be negative 4. C to the 5th over c squared would be c to the 3rd, because I subtract. And I subtract again here, d to the 2nd minus 9, c to the 3rd d squared. And now remember, when I subtract, I can only combine like terms. So since I have the exact same variables, c to the 3rd, d to the 2nd, I can just combine my coefficients together. So negative 4 minus 9, that's the same as negative 4 plus negative 9. So this becomes negative 13 c to the 3rd d squared. Okay, so take a minute, try number 20. I know it's a massive thing there, but give it a shot. If you did it correctly, you should get negative 3x squared y squared. Okay, so finish this video up, answer your questions, and then we will move on to negative exponents.